Hello and welcome to McHugh Media. Now, I just thought I'd share this with you guys. Now, if you've ventured onto this video and it's not what you were looking for, you're not going to understand the bloody thing I'm saying, okay? But for the people that know about Saturn and Saturnilism and stuff like that there, I thought that this was very, very interesting. Now, a lot of people look at this stuff and just disregard it as a nice old woman and a kid sitting beside a fire in a nice cozy house, and then they just put something into a search engine and look for what they're looking for. It's people like me and a lot of other people out there that actually go into depth. Right, now we can see here this the G for Google, right, the circle, right, it's black, it's fundamentally black, and then you can see there a little sort of dot in the middle, and then we see the line coming off for the G, right. People just think it's a G, it's a nice sort of modern fashion sort of thing, you know, whatever, trendy G, right. It's not, it represents Saturn, okay. Saturn is known as the dark star, so that's where we get the black from, okay? The G comes from the Grand Designer, right? That they actually have a ring on it, the G ring, that they just know nothing about. It's a mysterious thing, right? So that's where we get the G connection. Now, in this picture, you can see Saturn right in the sort of middle of the big circle. That's what the picture, the black Google picture is trying to represent. Right, now I could go into more depth, but the guys that know about this stuff know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? Now, we've got the kid. What's he doing? Alchemy? Just pouring a drink? I don't know. But it doesn't look good to me, and if it is alchemy, well then, there you have the occult nature of the picture. And then, I don't need to tell you about the flame and the fire. It's a demon face. It's you know, I don't know. Take from it what you want there. Okay, now if we look at the old woman, she's dressed in purple. She's sitting on a purple chair. You could argue that it's black, but I think the way it's specifically designed is to say that it's purple. And then she has a blanket there that she seems to be sewing with the star on it, okay? And the star is also purple, right? And anybody that knows their Saturn stuff will know that this represents Saturn, okay? Now there is the tailors of Saturn. The tailor men of Saturn. They tailor for all your needs. They tailor for everything, you know. Now, we've got this square on the wall, this cube, or if you want a pyramid that you're looking down on, right? You've got your X in there. Anybody that knows, again, what I'm saying, they know what the X represents. And then we have the four colors. The red, blue, yellow. That's supposed to be green, but they have a black. I don't know why, but it represents time. It's a time cube. Okay, and the red and the blue represent time and space. Okay, our three-dimensional world. Okay, there you go again. You've got your four colors, and it represents time. Right, the time cube will always add up to 9. The only answer you'll ever get from a time cube is 9. From any cube, any mathematics you do on it, no matter which way you do it, you're always going to end up at 9. And 9, as we know, represents Saturn. And then if you look into the middle there as well, on the sort of middle axis there, you've got the seal of Saturn, but that's for another video. And then you've got your four colours there, your red, yellow, blue, green, okay? Again, it's just a time cube. Now this is a cross, okay? But if you fold all the flaps in, you're going to end up with a cube, okay? And again, the answer that you'll get from this is 12, and 1 and 3, or sorry, 1 and 2 is 3. So there you derive at your 3. Sorry for being, you know, here, but I'm trying to sort of think here, you know, everything that's involved here. Now, the doorway, okay, that we see now, it represents the two pillars there, okay. It's all to do with the keyhole and the road, the narrow path, and all this. But you guys will know what I'm talking about. Now, if you look at the ball here on the right hand side, you can clearly see Saturn, and then you can see the sun, okay, and then you can see all the you know, the other stars around that, okay. You can also see the G there as well, okay, within the all-seeing eye, G being the Grand Master. Now, if we look down at the pillar, at the bottom of the pillar, we can see there that pyramid shape that has 9 levels to it, okay. The bottom bit is just the base. That's 9 levels to that. So, and also it's predominantly black. You can see little bits of white in there, and again, it's within the cube. It's within the black cube. Okay, and then in the middle of the picture there, you can see your compass and square, right? So we know where these guys were getting from with the doorway and the pillar. And believe me, this stuff was invented long, long before doors were invented. So people can't say it's just a door, okay? Because it's not. Now, when we focus in on the E, the last one there, you can see that it has 3 shelves. So there's your 3, okay, which represents Saturn. And then we can see here a skull. Now, I can't see no bones unless that's supposed to be a bone beside it there. I don't know. It just looks like a book tilted to its side. But it's definitely a skull. And anybody that knows their stuff, the skull and bones, the 322 and all this, carry on. Okay, so then just basically a recap then on the picture. Right, so you've got your Google picture there. Now that I've brought your attention to it, we can have a look at it here, right? So we've got your G, your Saturn, the grand designer, the grandmaster, whatever, right? The intelligent design behind everything, okay? It can only be run through the occult, right? And that's another whole story, but bear with me, right? And then you've got the kid there, practicing some type of magic, right? It's all governed from the central point here by Satan, because Saturn is Satan, right? Then we've the reference then to any countries that have the star as their flag, basically, or anything, any sort of thing to do with them that would hold worship to the star. Then we have the time cube that's saying time's running out. Everything's governed by time. In this 3-dimensional world. Then we have the doorway. And in the actual, and I hope some of you guys get to see this, you'll actually see the door opening and closing. And when it opens once there, you've got nice sunshine and stuff and whatever. And then when it closes, then it opens again and you've got rain and stuff. So what that's trying to tell you is, you've got to decide what you want to do here. Do you want to move on? Do you want to, it's really hard to say what they're trying to say. Right, but they definitely are letting us know that we live in this 3-dimensional world and we're governed by it. We're governed by this entity, this evil entity, whether you want to call it the devil or Satan or El or Ra or whatever. It's not a good entity. It doesn't have our best interests at heart, guys. Believe me. So that pretty much concludes my interpretation of Google trying to just push their agenda, push their little subliminals in there. And it's not just Google, guys. There's a lot of companies involved. Or should I just say corporations, governments, everything you see, everything you hear, everything's governed. It's all governed. Anything you can think of. There's nothing well, what about Coca-Cola? It's governed by everything. It's governed by the corporations. Corporations are driven by all these elites. The elites worship Saturn. Saturn is Satan, and this is where they sell their souls, and musicians do it, and actors do it, and it's a new trend apparently. But then finally we have the E, and I think that's just like a little final signature there. The skull and bones on the 3 shelves. The 3 represents Saturn as well. 9 represents Saturn. There's a lot of numbers that represent Saturn, but mathematically, fundamentally, 3 and 9 go hand in hand anyway, mathematically, okay? You'll always derive at 3 or 9, given any mathematical assumption, and that's just how it rolls, guys. That's how they're doing this stuff. I'm not a mathematician, so don't quote me on anything I've said there, but basically 3 and 9 go hand in hand, and you'll always arrive at 9 when there's a cube involved, and the cube represents Saturn and everything. It just goes round and round and round. But believe me, guys, everything you hear, see, and it's all run and governed by Saturn. It's mentioned in the Bible as well. Saturn's mentioned in the Bible, so anybody that knows their Bibles knows again what I'm talking about. Well, listen, guys, I have another few videos to do. I'm going to do one on Elvis, and I'm actually going to do one on old-fashioned subliminal messages, if you like. Rock groups from the 40s, or not from the 40s, rock groups from the 40s, 50s, 60s, and then the rock groups from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So I'll show you how far this stuff dates back. Well, listen, thanks for watching, and please subscribe.